Union, USAU, a body that represents interests of the arts administrators in secondary schools. Right Honorable Speaker. 2, your petitioners take cognizance of the discrimination in remuneration and the reward systems for science and arts administrators in secondary schools in the country. 3, your petitioners aver and contend that A, following the President's directive in 2021 to prioritize promotion and teaching of sciences, salaries for teachers of science subjects in secondary schools were enhanced, including salaries of administrators with a background in teaching science subjects. And I want to mention that recently, when the teachers of social humanities laid down their tools, His Excellency the President met them and has agreed to partial salary enhancements. But the head teachers and deputies who are arts background were not actually handled under this. So the essence of the petition. B, while the enhancement of salaries for teachers of science subjects was done in good faith, the directive is discriminatory and has caused salary disparities between teachers and administrators of science and arts, which is unconstitutional. C, by letter dated 19th November 2024, signed by the Permanent Secretary for Ministry of Public Service, a revised salary structure for secondary school teachers, science teachers, and head teachers was issued to be salary scale U1E for head teachers of science and the science scale for deputy teachers U2. Hence salaries were enhanced to ceiling 6.5 million for the head teachers who are science-based, and originally they were 2.3 million, 50,000 shillings. And then that of deputies was enhanced to 4.5 million from 1.7, 40,000 shillings respectively. D, the enhancement of salaries for science administrators left the arts teachers, head teachers and deputies at shillings 2.3, 50,000, and 1.7, 40,000 respectively, effective 1st July 2024, which is discriminatory, and yet they execute the same administrative roles and responsibility in the schools. E, both arts teachers and science administrators play a crucial role in delivering on the mandate of schools, and therefore such salary discrepancies cause discouragement, demotivation, and so forth of the arts teachers. 4, the petitioner states that on 22nd June 2018, Government of Uganda entered into a collective bargaining agreement with all the public service unions in Uganda, including Uganda National Teachers Union and other teachers unions, which are under public service, which clearly indicated salary structures and pay targets for all public officers to be implemented over a specified period of time. 5, the petitioners further state that according to paragraph 2.3 of the collective bargaining agreement, the parties agreed that there would be no discrimination in pay and other terms and conditions of service. Despite the aforementioned clause in the agreement, on the 24th of August 2021, it was announced that Cabinet had resolved to enhance salaries of scientists, which decisions being implemented despite significant displeasure and demotivation from the non-science actors in our schools. 6, the petitioners further submit that implementation of the above decision has caused strife, discontentment, demotivation, and division among the members of the labor force, and might ultimately affect service delivery for quite a long time. Now, therefore, Right Honorable Speaker, your petitioner has prayed that the government, one, establishes a sustainable salary enhancement plan for both arts and education administrators. 2, government implements the salary enhancement plan in line with Article 40, 1B of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and the other conventions of ILO, which provides for ensuring equal payment for equal work without discrimination. Prayer number 3, Your Honorable Speaker. Government engages with the public service unions who are key stakeholders in the matter through negotiations, consultations, and participation. Lastly, government enhances salary structure for arts teachers to match that of the science teachers and administrators, and put an end to the strife, discontentment, and divisions among the members of the teaching labor force. And you humble petitioners, the Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, have duly appended their signatures all over the country, and they beg that this matter be handled, because they actually, patriots who don't want to lay their tools down to disorganize the systems and education in Uganda. I submit, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Byakatonde. Thank you for the petition. Honorable members, pursuant to Rule 31(7) of the Rules of Procedure, the petition stands referred to the Minister of Education and Sports for quicker response.
Item 4 on the order paper.
Proceed on what? Please.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have had this petition and this matter for several times, and the people who have failed to handle it are the ministers, including the Minister of Education, because they're the ones who initiated the difference between science teachers and arts teachers. So, wouldn't it be procedure okay, Madam Speaker, with these 5 years you have led this institution, you give us a last blow to the Committee of Education and the Minister of Finance, plus all relevant ministries, public service, to exhaust this matter once and for all. But the Minister of Education, who has spent 5 years without coming to Parliament, getting a petition here, I don't see it looks unprecedented. Teachers are not teaching, Madam Speaker. They might be telling ourselves lies that there's teaching in the class, but there's going to school, but there's not teaching because there's discrepancy in salaries. And Honorable Miyingo knows that better than, like me, by the way, because both of us are teachers. So my procedure matter is whether it would be procedure okay. This matter goes to the Committee of Education and the Finance, Public Service, because there is evidence adduced by government that they are going to pay them, but they have failed. But sending it to the minister, he's here. He's here.
Can I
making teachers suffer.
Honorable Sewongo, can I ask you a question? Does the rules allow or give the latitude to the Speaker to send the petition to the minister? Does it?
Madam Speaker, it does, but I went on a procedural matter seeking for
saying,
indulgence.
I am saying because of the urgency of the matter and the action persons in this case are the respective ministers, will not allow the bureaucracy of going to the committee, because we need an action to be taken on this. Can you sit?
You are flogging the dead horse.
You cannot say there's I have referred the case to the Minister of Education and Sports, and we need a feedback. You've heard the prayers of the petitioners. We need this matter to be put to rest as soon as yesterday. Thank you.
Item 4 on the order paper. Motion seeking leave of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill, the Environmental Practitioners Bill.
Honourable members, the right of a private member is to initiate bills as enshrined in the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda under Article 94(4)(b) of the Constitution, and pursuant to Rule 127 and 128 of the Rules of Procedure. I will invite Honourable Jara Mapendus to move a motion seeking leave.
Right Honourable Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to move a motion seeking leave of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill entitled the Environmental Practitioners Bill. And Right Honourable Speaker, this motion is moved under Article 79 and 94 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, and Rules 58, 127, and 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, whereas Article 79 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda empowers Parliament to make laws on any matter for the peace, order, development, and good governance of Uganda, and whereas Article 94, 4B of the Constitution and Rules 121(1) of the Rules of Procedure permit a Member of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill, aware that Objective 20 of the Constitution empowers the state to ensure that all Ugandans enjoy rights and opportunities and access to education, health services, clean and safe water, work, decent shelter, adequate clothing, food security, and pension and retirement benefits. Further aware that Article 40(2) of the Constitution gives every person in Uganda the right to practice his or her profession and to carry on any lawful occupation, trade, or business. Concerned that environmental management is a critical pillar for sustainable development, public health, biodiversity conservation, and climate change mitigation and adaptation in Uganda, noting that there is currently no comprehensive legal framework in Uganda for the regulation, accreditation, licensing, and professional conduct of environmental practitioners, resulting in uncoordinated and at times substandard professional practices. Cognizant that the regulation of environmental practitioners is essential to ensure competence, ethical conduct, professionalism, and accountability in the environmental sector, and to align with regional and international best practices. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Parliament that this August House grants me leave to introduce a private member's bill entitled Environmental Practitioners Bill, a draft of which is here to attach and do order the publication of the said bill in preparation for its first reading. I beg to move.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Azar, Rose, William, Isingiro, Omara, Alanyo, Ivanda, Nekesa, Dr. Nur, Honorable Sumani, Isodo, Dr. Emily, Buhesh, Muheshu. I've already talked about Richard, Ojok, Nyenroha, Honorable Nyenroha, and Dr. Emily. Thank you. Would you love to speak to your motion? Just for your motion, just briefly.
Right Honorable Speaker, just as I made it clear, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda 1995, under Article 42, guarantees every person the right to practice his or her profession or to carry on any lawful occupation. Right Honorable Speaker, the absence of a regulatory framework. Currently, Uganda lacks a specific law that governs the registration, licensing, and regulation of environment practitioners. And as a result, the profession operates without a harmonized code of ethics, minimum standards of training and practice, or formal oversight. And this regulatory vacuum, Right Honorable Speaker, poses risk to environmental integrity, public health, and national development goals. Right Honorable Speaker, in the interest of time, it is important for this House to note that in this country there are so many cases where there are abuses of the environment, where there are practices that compromise the environment, and it's as a matter of fact, most of these cases are very much linked to the fact that we do not have a clear professional body that helps to streamline some of these challenges and as well as regulating. It is therefore important, Right Honorable Speaker, that we have this bill that seeks to establish this professional body that will be charged with the responsibility of regulating, supervising, and any other related activities. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. The seconders, Honorable Benji. Wanzala, not Wanzala. Okay, Richard.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I raise to second the motion, paving the way for a private member to introduce a bill for the Environment Practitioners Bill. Madam Speaker, just as stated by the mover of the bill, the absence of a legal framework that creates even a body that will manage the practice of practitioners in this sector has led to many challenges. And looking at the developments that are happening and the changing environment, it's just important that we have this bill moved. Madam Speaker, this bill will pave a way for the modernizing of the outdated frameworks relating to the environment protection. The bill will also help to form a way of strengthening the enforcement mechanisms and accountability. The biggest concern is the lack of oversight over the practitioners in the environment sector. Because of lack of oversight, we have sometimes fraudulent reports for assessments and audits that are produced, and in the end, we end up with the consequences for both communities and our environment. It is very important, Madam Speaker, that we have this bill in place so that we will be able, as a country, to monitor the practice of the environment practitioners. that this body, when established, will manage the licensing of the practitioners, even the delicensing in cases where they have mishandled their profession. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I beg to second. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Can I hear from government? Is a private member?
Madam Speaker and the Honorable colleagues, we have the National Environmental Management Authority Act, which actually provides for regulation of the environmental practitioners. And at the moment,
Yes.
information. Okay.
That was Speaker, the information I want to give the minister is that we don't have a law called the National Environment Management Authority Act. It is not there. What we have is called the National Environmental Act. So I wanted the record to be very clear. Thank you for receiving the information.
And thank you so much for the friendly information. Yes. So we would propose, Madam Speaker, if the House accepts that the private member can consult with the minister so that we see whether we can move together and amend the act. Because I know, for example, there are efforts by government to look by the Law Reform Center to look at reforming some of these laws to fit into the emerging issues, like what he's saying. If it is permitted, Madam Speaker, we would propose that the private member can consult the Minister for Environment and we come up with a law that will benefit the country in a better way.
Will it cause any harm if you went and worked with the private member and make amendment? Because this is just the beginning. We are just giving a leave. The rest you can work together with the private member.
Madam Speaker, we can work with the private member once the leave has been given.
Thank you.
Then we come up with a very reformed piece of legislation.
Thank you. I now put a question that Honorable Jara Mapendusi, MP Baralege, Laipi Division, Gulu City, be granted leave to introduce a private member's bill entitled Environmental Practitioners Bill. Those in favor say and the contrary nay. The ayes have it in furtherance to Article 94 4C of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 127(3) of the Rules of Procedure. The relevant departments of Government should accord Honorable Mapendusi all the required assistance. So please give him the assistance for us to come with a proper legislation. Thank you. Yes, Honorable.
Madam Speaker, the procedural matter I'm raising is that I have seen the minister was trying to weaken the work over a backbencher internally. No, yes, let me be, I'm on a procedural matter, I'm not minister. Government is not bringing bills here. And the backbenchers are bringing bills. The bill brought by Honorable Mapendusi, I not support it during the motion time, but I've supported it at when the speaker was asking to give him leave to go. So would it be procedure okay for this Honorable Minister to always be careful before he brings the issues to other bills? It takes time to first internalize bills brought by other members of the backup bench who are doing work of government instead of them. Madam Speaker, you don't have bills here.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Just to clarify, the Honorable Seungu knows that where I support private members' bills. When I was at the backbench, I worked on 3 of them. So the right of the private member to move a bill is supported. But what we are talking about is that if a private member works with government, then we come up with a better legislation. That's the point I was making. So the private member, Honorable Seungu, should know that. So we are not discouraging private members' bills, but also want to be cautious so that we can make a piece of legislation that will help the country. Thank you.
Honorable members, one thing you're sure that nobody will suffocate your role. Nobody. And it is your right to bring a private member's bill. So, and based on that, the relevant departments, relevant ministries will always work with the private member to bring proper legislation. Next item.
Item 5 on the order paper.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Sorry for the interjection, but I was still pondering over the petition which you relevantly referred to the ministry, the one of the teachers, arts and humanities. Madam Speaker, you were in compliance of Rule 31, Sub-Rule 7, but to qualify it further in Sub-Rule 9, Madam Speaker, given the urgency of the matter, and as we talk, Madam Speaker, most of these teachers have put down their tools, even the promises which were made by the ministry to construct them houses and also support their children at school have not yet been effected or enforced. The rule sub-rule 9, Madam Speaker, would require that the minister shall report, the word is shall, it's mandatory, that the minister shall report back to the House within the duration of time stipulated by you. So I would request, I would implore your good office to give timelines so that the minister does not take donkey's years to report back to this House.
Thank you. I will also refer you to Rule 231, reconsideration of the decision that has already been made. The decision has been made, and I am very, very aware that I must stipulate the time when I'm writing to the minister. I am aware of that. Thank you.
Item 5 on the order paper. Motion seeking leave of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill, the Kadi Courts Bill.
Honorable members, as I earlier on stated at the previous item, the right of a private member to initiate a private bill is granted under Article 94(4)(b) of the Constitution and Rule 127. And pursuant to Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure, I want to invite Honorable Asuman Basalirwa, MP Bugiri Municipality, to move the private members' bill.
Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, before I move the private member, the motion, I want in a special way to state that the Muslim community in this country did approach you at the Iftari dinner that you hosted here. And this is a matter that they brought to your attention. And Right Honourable Speaker, you undertook in their presence to have this Parliament consider this matter. I am glad that since the enactment of the 1995 Constitution, it is this Parliament that you are chairing that is considering a Kadi Courts Bill, a matter which is entrenched in our Constitution. So I thought that would be on record, because the Muslim leaders in the country, Right Honourable Speaker, as you'll be informed, are already here, led by the Director of Sharia, Dr. Ziad Rubanga, over there.
Director and your team, kindly just stand up for us to see you. You're most welcome, the Muslim leaders, and join me in welcoming the Muslim leaders. Welcome, welcome to Parliament of Uganda.
Yes. Right Honourable Speaker, this is a motion seeking leave of the House, brought under Rules 127 and 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Right Honourable Speaker, whereas Article 79 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995, empowers Parliament to make laws on any matter for the peace, order, development and good governance of Uganda, and whereas Article 94, Clause 4 of the Constitution and Rules 127 and 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament permit a Member of Parliament to move a private member's bill, noting that Article 126, Clause 1 of the Constitution provides that judicial power is derived from the people and shall be exercised by the courts established under the Constitution in the name of, cognizant that Article 129 1 of the Constitution established and empowers Parliament to create by law the Court of Appeal, the High Court, and empowers Parliament to create by law subordinate courts, including Kadi courts, to handle matters of marriage, divorce, inheritance of property, and guardianship under the Muslim faith, concerned that it has not given full constitutional requirement in Article 129 1D of the Constitution. Parliament has not given full effect to that constitutional provision through enacting a specific legislation to establish Kadi courts. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Parliament grants me leave to introduce a private member's bill entitled the Kadi Courts Bill, a draft of which, Right Honourable Speaker, is attached here too. Right Honourable Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you. Is the motion seconded? Seconded by Hajat Sarah. Sarah Netelisa, Nyendoha, Emily Ojok, Opendi, West Nile, Tom Bright, Ibanda, Karim, Ojara, Byakatonda, Isodo, Aisha, Alan, Brenda, Anifa, even Lucy, Amero, leader of opposition, Musomesa Mukatuliki, and then honorable from Chadondo, and president of UPC, and Hajat there. Speak to your motion.
Right on, Speaker, I want to thank you.
Actually, Zama also. Yes.
Right on, Speaker, I want to thank you, and I want to thank the House for the gesture exhibited today. Right on, Speaker, as I had already indicated, the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda establishes courts of judicature, including Kadi courts. However, right on, Speaker, up to today, there is no specific law operationalizing the Constitution to establish those courts in Uganda, and yet there is evidence to show that Kadi courts are being operated informally and are playing a crucial role in the justice system for the Muslim community. Right on, Speaker, across Uganda, formal Kadi courts. Therefore, right on, Speaker, considering the formal Kadi courts, therefore, right on, Speaker, considering that various Muslim communities prefer Kadi courts as they are convenient and accessible to obtain justice and manage the escalating issues arising from family, marriage, and disputes in the Islamic faith, it is imperative that Parliament and the country considers adopting Kadi courts. Right on, Speaker, the concept of Kadi courts is not new in Uganda. It appeared in the 1955 Mohammedan law. Unfortunately, moving forward, there's related, right on, Speaker, Uganda would not be the first country where minorities have specialized courts to deal with matters of Muslim personal law. Our neighboring country here in Kenya, despite having minority Muslims, they have Kadi courts to deal strictly with matters of what we call Muslim personal law. The same, therefore, they need to streamline, integrate, and empower the courts to work in the interests of justice and rule of law, recognizing that Uganda is a secular and has on several occasions upheld decisions that are based on Sharia. Right on, Speaker, the case of Sumaya Nabawanuka versus Medi Makumbi, divorce case number 39 of 2011, Justice
Aisha.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much. For the record, Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for being so supportive of the Muslim faith. Because here in house also, you helped us to recognize the veil. I'm doing my best. It is the microphone that has a problem.
Hajat, come and speak from here. What of the second? Now you're teaching me what to do. The second is Ajat, Melissa, and Karim.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. For the record, I would like to begin by thanking Right Honorable Speaker for being so much supportive of the Muslim faith. We had a bigger problem with government recognizing the veil. My passport, as it stands, I was forced to remove the veil. When I came here and presented the matter, you helped us to put government to task to explain why they were unveiling us, and finally they allowed the Muslim women to put on the veils. We commend you for that. About this one, we also thank you for allowing this come see the light of the day, because the struggle for Kadi court is been on for a very long time. And I hope Honorable Bahati David will not come and say, leave it to us as government, because we have tried severally, and government every time has been saying, we are working on it. I should remind House that in 2013, on breaking fast, one of the meals we offered the Muslims, government committed itself that they were working on it, that even a white paper had been promised. So many years have passed, it has not been able to see the light of the day. So I pray that Honorable Bahad does not come and say, please let us join you, leave us work on this law so that the Muslims will be helped. Having said that, Right Honorable Speaker, the 1995 Constitution was made out of a very extensive consultation. And it was out of that consultation that the article that is talked about in the Constitution was put in. 30 years down the road, the aspirations of the Muslims have not been realized. That's very unfortunate. We are still hopeful that we shall be able to gain this little one from the NRM government before the NRM ceases. That's good news to hear. Right Honorable Speaker.
Ajat, of course, this is not politics aside. What we need is the law. We need the law.
Right Honorable Speaker.
Politics aside, we need the law. And NRM is one party that loves Muslims.
Right Honorable Speaker,
Listen. Politics aside, let's legislate without putting politics in it. And NRM is not about to cease. It is still there.
It's okay, Right Honorable Speaker. I was only saying.
Can you second the motion and we move on? Yes.
And I am saying the Muslim faith will be happy to see this come to true while the NRM is still living. Let me remove the word cease to living. And Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to say, like my colleague said, that informal courts are now operating. It is only the law that can guide these informal courts. Because now there is no guidance on who sits on that court, on the constitution of the courts, and also on the qualifications of the courts. It is such a law that will give such guidance. And also, failure to have a law denies us the right to use judgments of our courts into higher courts. So it is so important that we get the Kadi court be recognized. Secondly, Right Honorable Speaker, we know people have studied Sharia law for bachelor's law and also for master's law. If we put this court, it will be an avenue for employment. You know we have an employment problem. People have studied and for years they're looking for an opportunity to practice. When we put the Kadi court, we shall give them the opportunity to practice. Finally, it will also save us the burden of having people every time trying to add up things that do not add together. When we put Kadi courts that recognize the Islamic doctrines, then this other law will recognize the other doctrines. We shall be happy to have the marriage and divorce law. It has failed to be made because every time it comes, the Muslims demonstrate. There are people who will. When we make wills as Muslims, we say, I want my things to be managed in accordance to Sharia. But there's no recognition of the Sharia in the law as it appears now. So I stand to second the bill, and I would be happy to be given the opportunity to work on the bill that will help the Muslim faith.
Thank you,
thank you.
Hajat Melissa.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable members. I rise to second the motion moved under Rule 60 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliament of Uganda, seeking leave of Parliament to introduce a private member's bill entitled Kadi Court Bill 2025. I wish to justify my secondment on the following grounds. 1, constitutional recognition of religious rights and pluralism. Article 29(1)(c) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda guarantees every person freedom of religion, including the right to manifest, observe, and practice one's religion or belief through community institutions. Additionally, Article 129(1)(d) of the Constitution expressly provides for Kadi Court, stating, the judicial power of Uganda shall be exercised by the courts of judicature, which shall consist of such a courts as Parliament may, by law, prescribe, including Kadi courts for marriage, divorce, inheritance of property, and guardianship, as may be prescribed by Parliament. This provision establishes a constitutional mandate upon Parliament to operationalize the Kadi courts through legislation. To date, no substantive act of Parliament has been enacted to comprehensively give effect to this article. This bill seeks to close that long-standing legislative gap. Secondly, addressing legal and social gaps in Islamic family law. Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda has a significant Muslim population who continue to resolve matters of marriage, divorce, succession, and custody under customary and religious practices without a clear statutory framework. The lack of a legal, recognized, and structured Kadi court system has led to inconsistent decisions in personal law matters, conflicts between civil and religious adjudication systems, difficulty in enforcement of Kadi decisions, and legal uncertainty for many Ugandan Muslims, particularly women and children. The proposed Kadi Court Bill 2025 will provide uniformity, transparency, and legal certainty by defining jurisdiction, procedure, structure, and appeals within any Islamic family law framework. Thirdly, promotion of access to justice and cultural autonomy. By recognizing Kadi courts in law, Parliament will be advancing access to justice in a culturally relevant and constitutionally permitted manner for Muslims. This is in line with Article 37 of the Constitution, which provides that every person has a right, as applicable, to belong to, enjoy, practice, profess, maintain, and promote any culture, cultural institution, language, tradition, creed, or religion in community with others. This bill supports cultural and religious self-determination while aligning with national judicial architecture and human rights norms. Fourthly, precedent and legislative competence. Parliament has in the past passed legislation operationalizing specialized courts such as the Legal Counsel Courts Act, Judicature Rules, and the Children's Act provisions on family and juvenile courts. Therefore, passing a law to operationalize Kadi's courts under the authority of Article 129(1)(d) is well within the legislative competence of this House and consistent with Uganda's pluralistic legal system. Fifthly, enhancing harmony between state and religious justice systems. Rather than create parallelism or conflict, the Kadi's Code Bill will establish a framework for coordination between civil and religious adjudication with defined limits, procedural safeguards, and oversight, especially in sensitive areas like custody and succession. This will reduce litigation in mainstream courts, decongest the judicial system, and strengthen community-level conflict resolution mechanisms in line with Uganda's justice, law, and other sector goals. Right Honorable Speaker and members, in conclusion, it is in the spirit of constitutionalism, legal reform, cultural inclusion, and access to justice that I support this motion and respectfully urge the House to grant leave to the Honourable Member to introduce the Kadi's Court Bill 2025 as a private member's bill. I beg to second.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Karim, just briefly.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to take this opportunity to second the motion as well and to welcome our Muslim leaders from Uganda Muslim Supreme Council. I've seen some of my voters from Mbale, and I've also seen my former teacher from Chibuli SS, Haj Siraj Katantazi. With your permission, maybe he could stand up because Haj Siraj, yes, he taught me at Chibuli SS, and I believe he's proud of me, seeing that I'm presenting or seconding this matter today. Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank you very much for the support you've been giving and you're giving to the Muslim community, because I believe this law will not see the light of the day if you're not supportive or would not see. We've seen several other laws that you've been supportive, like the law on Islamic banking, which this parliament did pass. We are very, very grateful. Right now we are dealing with the mortgage refinancing, which will help still our people, the Muslims, access mortgage for cheap housing without paying interest. So we are very grateful. Thank you very much. Back to the law, Right Honorable Speaker and members, this law, in particular, I'm looking at the aspect where it's coming in to design fair and equitable distribution of assets or the estates of deceased members of our community. We've had very many challenges in Uganda, particularly when, for example, you've seen prominent Muslims who have passed on. I wouldn't want to put the names on record, but you've seen what has been happening. It has been all over media, it has been in news, yet in Kenya we've not had similar incidences, because there has been this kind of law to protect and see how to evenly distribute the assets of a deceased person. When you look at Surah Al-Nisa in the Holy Quran, it outlines how or which percentage is supposed to be taken by who on the disease. So I think there is a fixed formula that will come to solve these kinds of problems. Our secular courts, yes, they've not been handling these matters quite well because they are not probably well trained in Sharia, and they do not have the knowledge on Sharia and how who should be taking what percentage, because the Quran states there is the fixed share, who are the priorities of to benefit from someone, the children, the spouse, and the parents. These should be the priorities. But we've seen cases where uncles have come and they have tried to grab property that is supposed to be taken by the children. So I believe this is going to come and solve a very huge gap and crisis that we are having in Uganda. And with those remarks, I do support, and I hope that this will see the light of the day and the bill will pass as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Right on the speaker.
Thank you, honorable members, for moving the motion and seconding the motion. And I want also to bring this to you. We are talking about establishment of a Kadi court and equipping it, which may have an effect on Article 93, but I want to request the government, much as it may have an effect on Article 93, on the restriction of financial matters, in the circumstance you will have to work with the private member and see how you handle it. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, the President of JEMA, for moving this motion. As you have said, this question dates back to 2000. And has been establishing of the Kadi courts in Uganda. It's a very important, at the same time sensitive to some sections of our society. And we pray that as you move forward, you really allow time to consult with government. The Speaker has spoken, and as a lawyer, you know the implications of financial issues, so it needs to be we need to work with government. We need to consult comprehensively. Madam Speaker, when I was at the Ministry of Finance, we amended the Financial Institutions Act, where we allowed Muslim financing. And at one stage, I was at the All Saints Church with my colleagues who were forced to come in front to be prayed for because we had passed that issue of Islamic financing. And they thought that we were sleeping when we were passing it in Parliament. So I hope that this law will be able really to get out some of these misconceptions, to explain to the public so that it is accepted by everybody. But as you have said, Madam Speaker, by all means, there's no way you are going to establish a court, equip it, without financial implications. So we pray that as we move forward, Honorable Basaliwa, you accept that government actually can take over this bill and bring it to the House so that it doesn't have any constitutional challenges moving forward. I thank you.
Thank you. So government can take over after we've granted leave. Honorable Minister, government can take over after we have granted leave to the private member. Microphone is on.
Yeah,
No.
we We already have some efforts, and the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs has already been working on this effort, and we commit that once the leave has been granted to the private member, we are available and ready as government to take over this process.
Okay. I now put a question that Honorable Asuman Basalira, MP of Bugiri Municipality, be granted leave to introduce a private member's bill, the Kadi Courts Bill 2025. Those in favor say the contrary nay. The ayes have it. We will request in furtherance to Article 94(4)(c) of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and Rule 127(3) of the Rules of Procedure, the relevant departments will be required to give relevant assistance to the private member, and he should work with the government to ensure that the success of this bill is seen. Thank you. Honorable members in the public gallery, this afternoon we have pupils and teachers from Ebenezer Junior School in Wakiso. Where are you? Welcome. They are represented by Honorable Medat Segona and Honorable Naluima Ethel. You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Join me in welcoming them. Please have a seat.
Item 6 on the order paper. Motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Government Assurance and Implementation on the status of implementation of the assurance to upgrade, rehabilitate, construct, and equip health facilities in local governments, install CT scans, oxygen plants, and ICU equipment.
Our Muslim community, thank you so much for coming. This is your home, Parliament of Uganda, and you're always welcome. This is a people-centered parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, about a week or two ago, there was a school that was taking pupils to visit, I don't know where they were going, but the children, the school bus got an accident, and I think one of the children even passed on. 2 children passed on. The Ministry of Education and Sports, just before we broke off for recess, issued guidelines stopping schools from taking children, especially traveling long distances, for these visits. The Minister of Education is here. I am still seeing, I'm not talking about these ones, they are from within, but I'm still seeing children being brought from distant places to Kampala to visit despite the guidance from the Ministry of Education. Can the Ministry of Education, because this is also now, it looks like an income generating activity for schools, Right Honourable Speaker. So can we hear from the Ministry of Education? Can the Minister brief us on these guidelines so that we guide our people back home? Because these guidelines were issued, children are being tortured, asked for money to pay to travel, to visit different places, and if a child does not pay, this child is actually tortured in the school. So since the minister was here, Right Honorable Speaker, would it not be procedure right for us to be updated? On these school visits and the charging, because it's another activity away from the high exorbitant high school fees. Children now have to pay for this, and even the other one, Right Honorable Speaker, that you know, where children have to buy expensive dresses. I don't know, what do they call it? Prom. Even the prom, Right Honorable Speaker, I was put under pressure, spending millions of shillings. We didn't have those kinds of things. So, no, we didn't have them. We just used to have
Honorable Sarah.
Function. So, can we hear from the minister?
Honorable Sarah. Honorable Sarah. Honorable members, as I mentioned before, those items will come at the Prime Minister's time. We are moving very smoothly with the order paper. So after this other statement, then we'll go to the Prime Minister's time and we'll require all those answers. Honorable Bedi, the item on the order paper has been pending, and as you are aware, the National Development Plan 4 makes priority to strengthening the health center as a key component of human capital development and overall development. One of the strategies in the functional decentralization of healthcare services is what is being talked today. The Standing Committee on Government Assurance and Implementation has inquired onto this matter and is ready to report. Could you kindly give us a summary of your report?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay a report of the Committee on Government Assurance and Implementation on the status of implementation of the assurance to upgrade, rehabilitate, construct, and equip health centers in local governments, install CT scans, oxygen plants, ICU equipment in all regional referral hospitals. I beg to lay the report, minutes attached, and the annexes. I beg to lay, Right Honorable.
Honorable Minister, kindly don't go. We have a number of questions for you.
Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to present a report of the government assurance and implementation on the status of implementation of the assurance to upgrade, rehabilitate, construct, and equip health centers in local governments, install CT scan including